Hi everyone, Chris Nansky here with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching with your Mind of a Champion tip of the week live on Facebook. I want to start like I always do with just saying thank you for all the great feedback I get on these, and just want to remind you once again that if you enjoy these posts and you think they could be shared with someone that could see value, please pass along either privately or tag them. And then also I'd love your feedback as well. So please go ahead and continue to share, and also let me know if you're on in this brief time I've got with you. So today what I want to talk about is the fact that we each and every one of us has a unique and powerful voice to share. You know, I think there's probably nothing more inspiring when we get to observe someone find the power of their voice. As a professional speaker, I get to do that all the time, using my voice as a means of teaching and inspiring others. And then as a martial arts instructor for the last 4 decades, in teaching not only traditional martial arts, but also self-defense, I've got to see people break through their fears using what we call the spirit yell in Taekwondo, the kiap, and then also in self-defense, having people learn to use and access the power of their voice to fend off an attacker. And I will tell you, there is nothing more spectacular than seeing someone be able to access the power of their voice. And if there's anything that trumps that, it's seeing one of your own kids do that. So many of you may not know, but my younger son, Jason, and I have permission, by the way, to share this story, struggled with the power of his voice for much of his early life. When he was quite young as a toddler, he had a tremendous amount of ear infections, which caused him to have speech delays. And so we actually even taught him sign language because he would get so frustrated when he was a toddler, he couldn't communicate with us. So we taught him sign language, and he eventually grew out of it, and his hearing restored, and he was able to speak once he got into elementary school, with one caveat. He developed a real bad case of disfluency or stuttering. And it really plagued Jason not only through his early elementary school years, but all the way into his high school years. And it actually became worse, of course, when you're a high schooler, because now you're much more self-conscious about it, and the more pressure you put on yourself, the worse it gets. So, but all that changed when Jason was about 17. And basically what happened was he was getting ready to test for an advanced degree of black belt, a senior 3rd degree black belt in our system. And he was doing along with 2 of my students and 2 of his best buddies. And it was up until that time, the most challenging test of any one of their young martial art careers. They'd each been trained for 10 to 12 years at that time. And there's going to be some great physical requirements that they had to go through, an amazing amount of personal development stuff they had to go through, as well as be leaders within the entire realm of our black belt candidate class at that time. Now, one of the main components and one of the main things that they had to do was come up with a creative form, a creative kata, if you will. So those that aren't familiar with martial arts, these prearranged movements that you put together, and it could be done empty-hand or done with weapons, and it had to be choreographed to music. And every time we do a testing twice a year, it is by far the most entertaining and most popular part of the entire test. But a couple of weeks before the test, Jason came up to me and he said, "You know what, Dad? I could do this musical form thing, this creative form thing, but you know what really would challenge me? Is if I gave a speech." Now, I have to tell you as a dad, my heart stopped, because all I wanted to do was protect my son. But as a martial arts instructor, I knew is exactly what he needed to do. So the day of the test comes, and the 3 guys just do an amazing job. They just rock it. And the creative forms were the best part of the test, as usual. And now it's Jason's turn. And I have to tell you, when I handed him that microphone, every cell in my being was electrified. I mean, here he is in front of all of his fellow students, 300 people that are watching the stands, a board of master instructors, and again, my heart just sank when I handed him that mic. But then with everyone with rapt attention on him, he stands up and gives the most amazing and powered speech you could give without a stutter at all. And the place, when he finishes, the place goes nuts. Everyone's on their feet clapping. I go from behind the judge's table, and I hug, tears flowing down my face, because my son had found his voice. My son had found his voice. And what was so cool about that is that from that point on, it was like magic. The stuttering almost totally went away. He started teaching the little kids at martial arts classes, which he had avoided for years because he was afraid that they would tease him about stuttering. He went on to college and became a leader doing film studies where he was a director of big projects. And 4 years later, I got to sit in the audience at his commencement where he was chosen to be the commencement speaker of his graduating class. And once again, he gave a speech without a stutter. So why do I share that with you? Well, number one, it's probably one of my proudest daddy moments, that's for sure. But second of all is we all have this opportunity to share our own voice. And oftentimes it's the fear that holds us back. It's that fear of looking bad. It's that fear of not being our best. And so I just encourage all of you that are listening is you have a voice that needs to be heard in whatever way that is. Whether it's direct speaking, whether it's singing, whether it's a written word, whether it's sharing on social media platforms like Facebook, you have a voice that's meant to be heard. And here are basically three things I'd encourage you to look at and consider to share that voice. Number one is learn to say yes. Usually our biggest breakthroughs are right on the other end of our biggest fears. And I can guarantee when you step into it, magic begins to happen, just like Jason found. In fact, as Emerson says, you do the thing you fear and the death of fear is certain. So that's number one. Number two is learn how to say no when it's appropriate. Many times what we do is we say yes to everything because we don't want to be thought of as being inconsiderate or we want to make other people happy. And what we need to do is learn how to say no when it's not consistent with our vision and our values. And as a teacher once told me, is when you have powerful no's, your yeses are even more powerful. And then finally is, let people know that you're here. Take that step, even if it has to be a small step at first, and just keep showing up. Keep showing up. Keep showing up. Like we say in martial arts, as a black belt is a white belt that never quit. Just keep showing up and show what you have to offer the world. Because you never know. Hi, Danielle. Good to have you here. You never know when you sharing your voice might be the exact catalyst for someone to share their own. So this week, are you up for the challenge? Where do you have an opportunity to share your own voice? Where do you have a chance to make a difference in the world by powerfully expressing the voice you're meant to share? So I'm Chris Natzke with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching. Thanks again for enjoying me in this installment of the Mind of a Champion Tip of the Week. Once again, if you like this, please like, comment, share, and share it with other people you think might find value. And if you want to talk to me directly about it, maybe there's an opportunity that can help you find your voice, go ahead and private message me, and I'd love to have a discussion with you. So, hey, Renee, great to have you here, my friend. So anyway, thanks so much, everyone, for listening, and I look forward to seeing you next week on the Mind of a Champion Tip of the Week.